everybody, this is Kieran Reese, otherwise known as the Obsessive Compulsive Gamer, the O.C.G, and I'm here playing, you guessed it, Amnesia, The Dark Descent. Well, I'm going to here in a second. Give me 1 second. Oh, yeah. Honestly, it's not, I don't think it's really the mic, I just think it's, I've had a rough day, so my voice gets darker when I'm not, like, super pepped up. I'm actually kind of excited to introduce you to Amnesia, because it's pretty good. It's like a horror touchstone. It's a great series.
Don't forget, some things mustn't be forgotten. The shadow hunting me. I must hurry. My name is Daniel. I live in London at Mayfair. What have I done? This is crazy. Don't forget. Don't forget. I must stop him. Focus. My name is I am Daniel.
Graphically, this game is held up pretty well, but it did originally come out in 2010, so you have to keep that in mind. This game is like well over 15 years old at this point. Well, almost. Basically, your fucking existence in this game depends on two things. Tinderboxes and oil. You have a lantern that has limited amount of oil, and you have tinderboxes that let you light up lights that stay lit, but there's only certain many of them. You don't want to be in the darkness for too long. This game has like a sanity meter. The longer you're in the darkness, the more your character loses grip on reality and starts to go crazy. And not only does it fuck with you and make you see things that aren't there, but at a certain point it actually attracts enemies to you, so you want to stay in the light. And the game, a huge part of this game is figuring out what exactly is going on. That's why it's Amnesia. Yeah, pretty much. Dude, okay. PewDiePie and Markiplier literally got their start playing this game. That is not a joke. This is one of the very first games that fucking PewDiePie ever played. This is the game that fucking launched his career, man. This game, honestly, is like one of the main games to help make Let's Plays on YouTube a fucking thing. This game, like, laid the groundwork for fucking streaming. Like, this game is a fucking super influential horror game. So many, like, countless horror games have taken inspiration from this game. Like, it's considered to be one of the all-time classics. And thus far, there's 3 games with a 4th one on the way. There's Amnesia, The Dark Descent. This one, the first one. Amnesia, A Machine for Pigs. Amnesia Rebirth. And Amnesia The Bunker, which comes out tomorrow. I'm going to try and get it when I can. I don't really have any money right now, but it's definitely on my to-do list. Traveling to Dover meant going through Canterbury. He made sure to pay a visit to avoid the sense of guilt connected with neglected family. And like I said, the less you know about this before you go into it is better. Fun fact about this game is kind of hilarious. You have no, like, body in this game. The hand is your only model. So, like, if you were to take the camera in third person, as people have done, you're literally just a fucking floating hand. It's kind of hilarious. Yeah.
19th of August, 1839. I wish I could ask how much you remember. I don't know if there will be anything left after I consume this drink. Don't be afraid, Daniel. I can't tell you why, but know this. I choose to forget. Try to find comfort and strength in that fact. There is a purpose. You are my final effort to put things right. God willing, the name Alexander of Brandenburg still invokes bitter anger in you. If not, this will sound horrible. Go to the inner sanctum, find Alexander, and kill him. His body is old and weak, and yours, young and strong. He will be no match for you. One last thing. A shadow is following you. It's a living nightmare, breaking down reality. I have tried everything, and there is no way to fight back. You need to escape it as long as you can. Redeem us both, Daniel. Descend into the darkness where Alexander waits and murder him. Your former self, Daniel.
Yeah, this is the thing about Amnesia. All the Amnesia games are very, very story heavy. If you don't like games that are story focused, then you won't like Amnesia. I mean, it's not like they're cutscenes, but they're way more story heavy than a lot of other horror games you might play, and they put a substantial amount of emphasis on the narrative and the characters and the world. I mean, I like it because, you know, I love a game with a good story, but some people don't want their horror games to have like a really in-depth story. There we go, yeah. Yeah, exactly. But I'm saying, like, even compared to something like Resident Evil, man, like Resident Evil has a good amount of lore and file entries and stuff. This game has way more story than something like Resident Evil. It's much heavier on the story.
Alexander, is it inside the castle?
In a manner of speaking. Come, bring the lamp. You've been to the refinery, have you not?
I don't believe I have. Is it connected to the... what did you call it?
The inner sanctum. My most precious chamber, Daniel. And it lies well beyond the refinery. In fact, it lies beneath the very stone of Brennenburg.
And in this game, you're not like constantly being chased by something. Like, there's large parts of this game where you're just kind of like exploring. I mean, it's not like an interactive cutscene, but like, there's some people who, you know, yeah, this game has like a lot of voice talent in it. Ha. I'm just saying, like, this is not one of those games where, like, something is constantly popping out trying to chase you. This is not one of those games where, like, stuff's constantly happening or shit like that. Like, this is a game that's a lot about mood. It's kind of more atmospheric and more, like, about the tension. And some people want the horror to be more boo in your face. And that's not really what this is. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that some people aren't like that. I'm saying this is like closer to Silent Hill than it is Resident Evil. And it's more about the mood. Like, there is definitely stuff that will try to kill you. There's definitely parts that are fucked up. But it's more about the dread. The what the fuck is going on kind of spooky feeling, and then boo! And some people don't like horror like that. This is more like a mystery that gets in your head. And even when you run into monsters, there is no fighting back. Period. You have to run and you have to hide.
May 1839. The unflinching African sun has continued to plague our expedition, making it impossible to dig
Yeah, it's
until
great.
dusk. How Professor Herbert managed to find the location in these vast plains of nothingness remains a mystery to me. When I asked him about the tomb again, he told me about the legend of Tin Hanan, the mother of us all. An interesting story in its own right, but I can't help feeling there's more. Later that evening, we uncovered a passage beneath the dunes leading to a sand-covered stone structure. The professor was confident it was the tomb we sought and ordered the others to clear the way late into the dark, cold night.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, I shall lead the men into the ancient structure, hoping to reach the burial chamber. No matter what the professor is keeping from me, the dig should yield something interesting to take back to London and the British Museum.
I'm just saying, like, this is a very particular type of horror and it's not for everybody's taste. It's definitely for me, but this is a lot of dread. This is a lot of creeping around in the dark, trying to figure out what the fuck is going on, because you have no idea the backstory of the game. It's a lot of reading notes and trying to piece together the story. It's hiding in a fucking cupboard so something doesn't get to you. And some people don't like the fact that you can't fight back, that you have to run and hide. Some people don't like the fact that there's a substantial amount of this game that's dedicated to story and trying to read and figure out what the fuck is going on. It's a very own unique genre, and it's not for everybody, but it is for me. Like I said, I like games like Resident Evil, obviously, but it's nice to play games like these as well, where it really builds into the mystery and the story. These games have impeccable atmosphere. But like I said, they're slower paced. You really look in and taking your time. They have lots of puzzles. They are devoted to the story. So there's some people who don't like these games because, like I said, they're not boo, because they're not like boom, 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 in your face, in your face, in your face. It's like games like Resident Evil are like a haunted house ride. You know, like jump in like a roller coaster. Games like Amnesia are like going into an abandoned house in the middle of the night. Nobody's there, but it's just fucking creepy. So, and like I said, I like them both. I like Resident Evil, and I also like this. But I can admit where this is not to everybody's taste. But, you know, this game was hugely influential. An entire genre, like, so many games try to copy this. Like, this honestly, Amnesia is just as influential in horror as Resident Evil is. And they all kind of like loosely connect to each other. None of the games are like directly connected. They're all like separate stories, so you can technically play any Amnesia and get into it, but they definitely have connections and callbacks. Like in the note that I just read, he was talking about Ten Hanan, the mother of us all. That's only like a bit character in this game. It's only like kind of like a part of the lore. But in Amnesia Rebirth, which is a later one, Ten Hanan is like the focus of the entire game. And they like connect to each other, and each one takes place at a different period in time. So this is like in the 1800s. This is like Victorian era. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, the whole game was like that, man. This one is in the Victorian era. Classic London, when you think of London, they have one that's set in the Industrial Revolution, so like the early 19th century. Amnesia Rebirth is set in the 30s, like 1939, I think. And then Amnesia, the Bunker's like 1917 during World War I. So they all take place in different parts of the timeline, in different parts of the world. This game is in the Prussian countryside. Amnesia Rebirth is in the Algerian desert, and the Bunker's in Germany. I have oil, thank goodness. That's another really good thing about this game. It's like you can pretty much interact with anything. That's one of these things these games did really well. You just pick up a chair and just fucking throw it.
Much of the castle is old and hasn't been tended to for centuries. When the shadow arrives, it won't take long until things start falling apart.
We're just buying time anyway. Let's do what we can.
There isn't much to be done about wars. We should reinforce weak structures. The ground will tremble, and there's a risk everything will cave in on us, especially downstairs. Here, and there. Let's get the servants working on it.
And like I said, it's set up in a really cool way because, like, you can play each one separately, but if you're a fan of the series and you're, like, dedicated to the lore, you can see all the places where it comes together. So, like, after playing this game and, hearing them talk about Tenhanan, it's really cool to see Amnesia Rebirth go into depth about who the fuck she is and why she's so fucked up.
17th of May, 1839. My hands tremble as I write. I feel a need to document my tribulation, for I fear that my memory will fail me if I linger. Today, I took some men and ventured into the dark, ancient passage we uncovered. Our torches burned faintly in the murky air as we slowly made our way underground. The men were superstitious and fearful. They argued loudly, and I felt their strange language getting to me. I mustered my strength and yelled at them to continue down the slopes and broken steps. The crudely carved passage confused me. It looked much older than the 4th century structure we had expected. The twisting path emerged into a great antechamber. The walls were lined with statues unlike any I'd ever seen. Despite their unearthly quality, I felt a strange familiarity toward them, which haunts me still. At the far end of the chamber, a great slab of stone sealed off whatever lay ahead. I gave the order to raise it, and as I pushed through the narrow space, the heavy stone suddenly dropped, sealing me inside. I was trapped.
Yeah, see, like that's one of the things I love about this game is, like, they drop you in a castle, you have no idea who you are, you have no idea what you're doing, and you have to gradually fucking piece it together throughout the course of the game. It's cool.
You have to be swift when you activate the first one. You hear that? If it stops, you'll have to start over.
Isn't all this a bit excessive?
You can never be too careful, Daniel.
Alstadt and Brandenburg Castle, 1801. Another region rich with lore is Alstadt, deep within the East Prussian woods. For centuries, there have been stories surrounding the hamlet and its neighbor castle, Brandenburg. The quiet forest-clad mountains dressed with scattered lakes is as picturesque as can be, albeit the area is haunted by the dark. As skinny local, and you will hear proof of the widespread superstition, all travelers should indulge themselves in such conversations, since it will certainly serve as exciting entertainment. All of them have their own twists on the tales, but there are some motifs that keep reappearing. The Gatherers. Their story reaches all the way back to the time of the 30 Years' War. It is said that soldiers who abandoned their duty got lost in the cold dark woods and were forever damned to roam the grounds. Their bodies wrought by their tainted souls have left them disfigured and empty of essence. Many have cited them over the years and described them as horrid revenants. They move silently through the woods, shying away from any beholder. They are called Gatherers, as they seem to follow some ambition to steal living creatures. It is their prey which can be heard struggling inside damp burlap sacks dragged behind them, which reveal their presence. What dark scheme do they follow? A visit undone. Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa, he is a real person, by the way, real historical figure, the well-known erudite, visited Alstadt at the start of the 16th century. He resided in the local inn for a fortnight, that's 2 weeks, as he looked for the remnants of kingdoms past. During his stay, all the prominent members of society paid notice, and he is mentioned in many records of the time. One day he went to investigate a burrow in the northwestern glades, only to never be seen again. Heinrich is known to have passed away in Grenoble some 10 years later. He dismissed the notion of ever visiting Alstadt, which makes you wonder what really happened. Who is this mysterious man who visited the sleeping hamlet in the woods and what happened to him? The Immortal Baron. The Baron of Brandenburg lives a reclusive life with his family at his castle nearby Allstadt, and like most of those of noble birth, rumors are inherited along with the title. Researching the history reveals little before the castle was consumed by fire in the late 16th century. It was rebuilt by Alexander, a nobleman from the Rhinelands, claiming the role as protector of the Prussian state. Alexander helped the region to flourish and remain popular throughout its presumed lifetime. The family has always been secretive when it comes to lineage and heritage. Therefore, the birth and death of Alexander and his offspring has never been fully recorded. This has fed the idea that the Baron is in fact one and the same who came from the west over 300 years ago, lived through the occupation and joined the coveted order of the Black Eagle along with the great leaders of this country. See, like there's like lots of rich backstory you can find in this game that are great. Regarding closing of the wine cellar. Wilhelm and his fools have endangered my research long enough. Okay. Thank you, Jim. Yeah, look at them. I was waiting till it comes back. I don't want to miss this. It starts to get interesting. I do. Okay. I was waiting for you to come back, ma'am. It starts to get interesting. Regarding closing of the wine cellar. Wilhelm and his fools have endangered my research long enough with their absent-minded handling of the human vessels. The sheriff is keeping a watchful eye on the forest and is killing my trusty servants. It's just a matter of time until they follow the trail to Brandenburg. I need to lock Wilhelm and his men up to avoid further investigation from the public. The wine cellar will therefore be sealed off until the matter has been handled. Either the king's men leave or they will starve. Whatever comes first, they can rot for all I care. Maybe I will feed them some wine. It would, in a sense, solve both of my problems. Now here, if you pay attention, you're going to get a glimpse of the monsters in this game down the hallway, but you have to look really quickly. Ha! Let's go to the wine cellar.
Where did the Baron go?
Who cares? He left nothing of wine to last us a lifetime. Or at least until tomorrow.
I'd like to move it. Oh yeah, I meant to tell you, like, we were talking about the 2DS earlier. In my 2DS, I mentioned yeah, like, this is why I like it. Because it's like, there's like a 3DS just doesn't have 3D. Like, the normal 2DS sucks dick. It's like that weird slate fucking sucks. But that's like, it is like literally identical to 3DS except no 3D, but I hate the 3D. I never use it. And it's like $100 cheaper. Oh, it was. And then like, the regular fucking 3DS, you have to pull off the back to put the SD card in. This one, like, right here, well, I don't know if you can see. This one has like a chamber right here. You just pull, see? And it comes out, and then like you fit the game cartridge, and then the SD card right there. It's so much easier. Like, I thought it was ridiculous how you had to take the fucking back off with the screwdriver on the regular 3DS just to put in an SD card and swap it. So I'm trying to see what you said. My phone's being a douchebag. Ha, that's funny. Screw you, teacher. No. Like I said earlier, I was homeschooled. My mom and dad were my teachers. I was about 15 when I graduated homeschool. I actually was really smart when I was a kid. I had really great grades. I was ahead of my class. And it wasn't just because, like, oh, my parents are my teachers. Like, in the state that I grew up in, Missouri, the government actually had to come out and they had to evaluate your work. So, like, the government would check and make sure you were doing up to tasks, that you were doing the right schoolwork. Every, couple months, they come and evaluate your stuff, look at your report cards. You couldn't just fuck around and do whatever. Like, in my home state, they were, like, really, 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 uppity about making sure you did your homework like you're supposed to if you're going to homework. And like I said, I always excelled at my class. I wound up graduating from homeschool at 15. So, I was something of a smart kid. I was in advanced classes. Oh, that's great, man. Good for you. I appreciate it. Like, that's good. It means you're doing right. You're doing well. It's a good thing. Excuse me.
What's happening? Oh, it feels like my chest is going to burst.
My God! Wilhelm, do something!
Accept it. We're not getting out of here alive.
How can you say that? Alexander, you piece of shit! Let us out of here!
Wilhelm's last words. My name is Wilhelm, House of Garrick. These are my final words, my confession and testament. 2 years ago, I was summoned to the Castle Brandenburg. As most of the aristocracy, I was curious about what the supposed Knight of the Order could want from me and accept the invitation. The Baron was friendly and offered me a proposition. It dawned on me that the nature of the contract was sordid, and that the reason I was chosen was because the follies of my past, not the honors I've been rewarded with during my time as a soldier. I was to kidnap healthy humans upon his slightest whim, and do so without asking questions. In return, he would attest to my character at the royal court, advancing my position within noble society. I would like to claim that I struggled with my decision, but it came swiftly and I accepted wholeheartedly. Ever since that day, I've brought men, women, and children to Brandenburg. I can't remember the numbers, but there were many, perhaps even 100, none of whom were ever seen or heard from again. Tonight, the Baron invited me and my men down to the wine cellar to celebrate our work. I had my suspicions as we descended the stairs, but he insisted and joined us in a toast. The wine tasted fine and my men drank without restraint. So begins the punishment for our sins. The Baron has locked us up and returned upstairs. Forgive me for what I have done. I was weak and fell into his diabolic ways. My men are screaming. Their skin has been pierced by their own tangled bones. I feel my insides revolt against their God-given nature. Blood has begun to pour from my eyes, and I can no longer. So yeah, like I said, there's some fucked up shit in this game. They fucking kidnap people, and fucking dude lured them down, made him drink the wine, and turned him into whatever the fuck those things are, the gatherers. And you can't even stare at the monsters for a prolonged period of time because it will drain your sanity really fast if you continue to look at them. So you have to get quick peeks. And you can see because my sanity is low, I'm all fucked up. Like my vision's all distorted, that's what happens when your sanity goes low. And the only way to get your sanity back up is to complete progress, like complete puzzles. In which case, like it heals your sanity. See, everything's all fucking weird and shifted around. It's because my sanity's low. You want to avoid that. And see, because I completed that quest, fixed my sanity. So it's like sanity isn't something you can just sit there and drink something and fix. Like you have to keep moving. And like it creates like it creates kind of like a weird interplay because you don't want to be in the dark because it will drain your sanity, but if you have your lantern out, the enemies will fucking see you. That's a sanity effect. Just one of the many ways you get fucked up. And that's like a light hallucination, like you start to see shit that's not there as your sanity gets worse. So you really want to keep your sanity high as possible. Like I said, this game can be downright fucking terrifying. I know, I'm trying to find that one room. There's like a lantern refill. Was it down the hall? It's like a barrel of lantern and it like fills your whole thing up. But you can only use it once, and that's why I was like waiting until now, until I was like really low on oil. Come on, I just saw that thing. Where the fuck is it? I know for a fact it's in one of these fucking rooms. There it is. Boom. Yeah, okay, there we go. Now we're up to full lantern oil. And you do not have time to waste. Like with lantern oil, you have very, very fucking little. So, you know, your light's low, your sanity is low, and it creates tension because you don't have time to waste. Okay, I think that's everything here. I think I've gotten everything I can get here. Just want to make sure. That was just fun. I just want to make absolute sure that I found everything. And like you may not be able to fight back traditionally, but you can use the environment to your advantage. Like you can put barrels in front of a door to stop them from breaking the door down. And stuff like that. So, you know, just shutting the door is not going to do shit. They will break it down. But you put something in front of the door, like a barrel, and they'll fucking leave you be. see they were talking about the shadow chasing him. That's what this shit is. Hey. Boom, oil. Like, there's oil hidden around, so it pays to really look around. One day I will return. If it wasn't for the thought of you, my love, I wouldn't be able to go on. When I find myself doing terrible things, I take comfort in you. As long as I am able to think of you and long for a life together, I know I'm better than the others. I weep for them. They lust for power without restraint, where I only crave fair judgment and a safe return. Early alchemy experiment. This is my third attempt to produce artificial vitae. The former compounds lack the potency I need, but I sense I'm close. Calamine and opperment are a given, and the cuprate binds them well. This time I will attempt aqua regia instead of aqua fortis and hope it will produce a more even solution. The experiment was unsuccessful. The solution is highly acidic and proves impractical to put to any use except as a detergent. Organic tissue reacts especially violently to the solution and should be handled with the greatest care. I might be able to use the recipe, but I'm losing hope that I will find an alchemic solution of my predicament. There we go. There we go. Oh, okay. Shit, I gotta get back up the stairs. Hold on, let me... Here we go. Fuck. Stuff unplugged, it's my bad. Oh, come on. Yeah. Like I said, this game is fucking creepy. Fabric refinery. And the whole reason I went to all this trouble of making that shit was to burn down this goop.
Dark in here.
Yes, and there's a good reason for it. But you can light the lamp now if you wish.
What's the reason? For the darkness, that is.
Stay close. Be careful not to stray.
What's the reason? Why is it so dark?
Pay attention, Daniel. It's important that you keep going straight and make sure not to stray.
Yeah, I can see that. I'd have to look into it, but yeah. He's been in a lot of stuff, so maybe.
Of June, 1839. It's been more than a month since my last entry. After the event inside the underground chamber in Algeria, Professor Herbert insisted I return to England. He said he didn't want to risk forfeiting the entire expedition lest I took a turn for the worse. An excessive decision, in retrospect. But I'm glad it turned out that way. I found my journal this morning in the haphazard collection of things brought home from Africa. Next to it lay the broken stone orb wrapped in cloth. I tried to assemble it, but couldn't. The pieces wouldn't fit together, as if they weren't from the same object. Could I have imagined it all? Was there ever a complete orb?
Yeah, man, Batman's not gonna be the same without Kevin Conroy. That's fucking insane. Like, it's super sad he died. He literally played Batman more than any other actor in history. That's cool. I need to. I have HBO Max. I really need to rewatch the series. Well, actually, they became one thing. Like, I know it sounds like they broke up, but they actually, like, consolidated. It's fucking weird. I don't know why they couldn't just keep calling it HBO Max and now it's just Max. It's fucking weird. But, like, it has all the same programming that it used to. So it's not like they lost anything. It's fucking weird. You think, but going by that they would have lost stuff, but, you know. It's weird. I think if anything, they said they gained new programming.
25th of June, 1839. I feel the need to continue this journal, even though it was intended for my journey to Africa. This must be something very important. I just know it. I've taken it upon myself to piece the orb back together, but it's been more difficult than one might think. The pieces are behaving strangely. They seem to change color, shape, and texture, but ever so slightly. Yesterday, I took careful measurements and notated any significant markings. Today, I confirmed my suspicions. They were changing. I was terrified and rushed off to see the finest geologist in London, Sir William Smith. I approached the subject with care, and we discussed how rocks change form. He told me about the nature of glass, how it eventually collapses on itself, like ice slowly melting over the course of centuries. Smith eased my mind a bit, but I can't escape the feeling that these shards have otherworldly properties.
See, Daniel was over there at that dig site in Nigeria, and you heard the whole journal entry. You heard the whole journal entry about how he was trapped. He found this orb, this super like beautiful orb, and he touched it and saw all these like strange shit, these geometry, floating towers, and all this. And then the orb exploded, and he collapsed. And he was basically sent home. Yeah. I have very little sanity left. That's right, I gotta fix that. Oh man, it's hard for me to say that, but probably I had such fond memories of old Bruce Wayne and Batman Beyond. Yeah, this is where shit gets fucked up. Just wait. There's a fucking invisible monster. And if you touch the water, it will come after you. You gotta stay out of the water. No, 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 oh, fuck, no, 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 oh my god, no, no. Yeah, fuck. Nope. I gotta turn this handle and then I gotta run like fucking hell to get there before the gate closes. And you can also use the dead body parts to distract them. You know, because that's cool. And this is the tricky part. I've got to get in the water to turn the fucking handle, so I've got to hope that I can distract this fucker long enough that he'll leave me alone. Come on, take the bait, you cocksucker. Pretty much. And now we've got to run for our fucking lives. Oh my god, I made it. Holy fuck. See what I'm saying? That's some creepy shit. Alright, I'm going to take a slight break and then I'm going to switch games. I'll be right back.